This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is David Nixon, and I was meant to talk about this a little while ago, and I kind of wrote some notes on it and forgot about it. So coming back to it, I want to discuss this idea of mindfulness. I may have mentioned it like a little bit on previous podcasts, but really sort of delving into this concept of mindfulness and what it means. And often in today's society, we're using the term, and I'm generalizing here, as being extremely aware of thoughts, of other people, of the greater good. It's often used in conjunction with like meditation, with yogis, like in that sort of almost Eastern world sort of view. And at least this is my interpretation of how it's used. And sort of seeing all that, it's like looking at this mindfulness is this idea of almost being present and being clear of judgment and all this sort of stuff, right? This move towards spirituality. And as true as that may be for many people, I was having a conversation with one of my clients today around, well, which is a podcast I had a little while ago, about this desire people have at the moment to be more, and there's a very big encouragement for females to be more, to be more assertive, to be more, I suppose, vocal about things that are important to them, to be more, I don't know, giving. Like and just to point out, I'm bringing this up, I'm just pointing it out. I'm not saying good or bad, but what I am saying is that simply just like keep that being more in mind for the moment, because I want to come back to that in a minute. But the whole idea of like trying to be more and trying to be more and trying to be more is like, it's the fucking same as just being less and being less and being less. And so, in this world today, it doesn't hurt to be less judgmental, especially of self. It doesn't hurt to be less egoic. It doesn't help to be consuming less. It doesn't hurt to be less in so many different ways as well. And so it's not an encouragement or a discouragement of mine at all to tell people not to be more, but we could be less of what we're not, right? A lot of the time being more, we start like just adding shit to our personality, thinking that that's what people are going to deal with, that people want. But actually really moving towards essence is being less than less of who we're not. And that's this idea of unbecoming what we're not. And a lot of the time, and I talk about meta programs a lot, but a lot of the time, excuse me, sorry, the meta programs are simply just programs that we have developed to be able to deal with the reality that we grew up around, and through our teenage years and so forth. And so the thing about being more of anything, being more assertive, is all getting filtered through all of those meta programs, which means it's different for every single person. Whereas if we can start to be less of that, we actually get out of our own way to allow ourselves to actually be truer to who we are, and then we get to become more of who we are. And so it's really interesting sort of stuff. And I think my key takeaway here is that this idea of being more and mindfulness, when really like what people are attempting to do is to be less, right? And I mean that in the sense of don't place more. That's not what that means. It means to play true. It means to play honest. It means to play authentic. It means that some people are trying to play big just to appease other people or to prove other people wrong that just don't give a fuck. Like, is that really being more? Right? Is that really being more? And being less in the sense of learning when not to say something. Learning that being the bigger person doesn't mean you're bigger than the person that you're walking away from. It means you're bigger than the person you used to be, who used to engage in that kind of behavior. Like when we understand that, and that's associated with being less aggressive, being less snappy, reactive, and all these terms. And so it's just see both sides and utilize the beauty on both sides. Hey, like, because it is there is there is importance to both that, but it ties back into this idea of mindfulness, when what we're really trying to do is mind emptiness. Like, I'm really mindful. It's like, yeah, it's probably why you're not fucking sleeping. Hey, like, it's about being able to empty the mind of the junk, or observe it at least, not fill it. The goal's not to fill the mind of just fluff. The goal's to empty it, to be able to release it, to be able to start seeing things. We're observing things rather than attaching things, rather than having to always make meaning of situations and realities unfolding as if it's something that's so important to us. It's like, it just happened. Just fuck, let it go. Like, empty the mind. Don't fill it. Don't fill it with thoughts and worries and all this sort of stuff. So it's just such a, it's so ironic that we're using the term mindful, unless we're filling it with silence or observation, like mindful in order to mean mind empty, right? And in that mind empty, we can simply just observe, because nothing actually occurs without observation. And this is the idea of, if a tree falls in the forest, how does anyone know? And what this is, it talks about the observer, right? We can only see reality because we observe it, not because we make sense of it, not because we label it, not because we give things scientific names. That's all maps. That's all maps of reality. We're all doing that to try to understand it. Maybe reality wasn't there to be made to be understood. Maybe it was there just to be. And here we are in our human experience, in human form, attempting to try and make sense of something that is just unfolding as it is in all its beauty. But here we are just trying to force it into a box. It's just, that's the human experience. And people are doing it with everything. And they get caught up on all this sort of shit. And it's just like, step back. Step back and realize that we're here for a fraction of time, right? There is a lot of power to being more. Yeah, I fucking agree 100%. But in your pursuit of being more, really pursue being less. And it's your choice what you want to be less of, but we can all do with a lot less. A lot more less, rather. Think about that. We can all do with a lot more less. And in doing so, what we end up doing is fucking freeing ourselves from just the crap. And when I say crap, it could actually be like really bad stuff from the past that we hold on to, because it still gives meaning to the shit that we do or how we react. But I also mean just like, you ever clean out your house and you're like, why am I still holding on to this? Why are you? Like, you don't need a bigger house. You need a tidier, cleaner house. Right? We don't need much. Like, that's the thing, hey? That's the beauty of it. Anyway, that's my rant on mindfulness instead of mind emptiness. Team, I hope you found this podcast beneficial. Now, if you did, it would mean the world to me if you share it with someone else that you think would also find it beneficial. Also, just to reiterate, we do have the Mood Prep Weekender coming up on the 9th and 10th of March, so stay tuned for more details of that, and also jump on Mood Prep Online on Facebook to learn more about it as well. Otherwise, that's it. I'm done. Until tomorrow, peace and pizza, kick today in the dick, slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.